Good afternoon, Wrestling Inc. Get up, get going. Happy Tuesday. It is me, your managing editor of WrestlingInc.com, Nick Hausman, back once again for your second scoop of pro wrestling punditry of the day from me. And joining me right now, honestly, the best ice cream man in town. It's our very good friend, Second City Chicago, Main Stage cast member, EJ Cameron. And EJ, I have no idea what I meant by that, but for today, you're the ice cream man.
Hey, everybody call me Mr. Softy. That's what the ladies call me, Mr. Softy, because I cry.
Oh, it's not because you ate too much ice cream. It's because you're a sensitive human. I understand.
Yes.
Oh, all right. Yeah, because you're tight with the boxing, you know?
Yeah. I'm tight. Everything's tight. But like on the inside, I'm just so delicate.
I know, like a sweater that is unraveling in front of our eyes here today, EJ. Well, yeah, I know. Visual comedy works well for the video show. For those of you listening to us in audio form, he was shivering there for a moment. It was hysterical.
Audio, you got to click over and watch too. That's what you got to do.
Well, we got to, I don't know if you've heard, but there's some really, really big news, multiple big news items that broke here in the past 24 hours of professional wrestling. We are going to get into all of it here in the next half hour or so. And on top of that, while we're talking the news, you could talk about the news as well. Jump in the comment section wherever you're at. Over on YouTube, Dino here, Mr. Ice Cream. He's got the scoop. I like that. I like that. Wow, I wish I was the ice cream man now, because then I'd get more scoops, you know?
You could be the Raisin Bran man.
Raisin, because I got 2 scoops?
Hey, you know.
Yeah, 2.
Raisin Bran Hausman. Come on.
What other cereal is cool enough to have the California raisins tied to it? Answer, none. All right. So that's a great thing Dino said. Headlock Heels in the house here today. Keith George, hi from Nova Scotia. Well, you know, he's bringing up some news we're going to talk about here in just a little bit. And
I love Nova Scotia.
Beautiful part of the world. Beautiful part of the world. Thanks so much. We love our Canadians here. So we have people from around the world tuning in right now. Jump on in wherever you're at. Join the conversation. It's going to be me. It's going to be EJ. If you are listening to this in audio form, later on, you're going to hear me talk to Swerve the Realist, a.k.a. Isaiah Swerve Scott from Hit Row Records. I have wanted to get this interview forever, and I was going to do it today and run it tomorrow, but then everything went cattywampus today. There were a couple things I wanted to get his take on. So you're going to get to hear me talk to Isaiah about the news of the day. And if you're watching this in video form, head over as soon as we are done here today. We'll try to wrap right here at about 5:30 Eastern. You can then jump over and watch my conversation with Swerve. It's well worth your time. Excellent 20 minutes. Thank you, Swerve. And then in the mailbag at the end of the show, we're going to look at who in WWE you most want to see Cody Rhodes feud with. And that brings us right into news you can use. News that will leave a bruise. Yes, if you tuned in earlier at like 11, like it was like 10:30 a.m. Central Time, I did like a 15-minute breaking news Cody Rhodes video segment, and we put it up on the podcast feed there. So you could have checked it out there as well. Really a primer for the daily here today, because A, we're going to get EJ's thoughts on the situation, but B, I needed to digest this more. When I did the breaking thing, I was just reading the facts. I hadn't called anybody, broken it down, really thought about it. I've had 5 hours now, and I don't know how much my opinions changed, but I certainly know more. So let's break down what we do know, EJ, and then I'll throw it to you. The Observer started this off on Tuesday morning or Monday night, because it is Tuesday. Jesus. Monday night, Observer reports there's been backstage chatter at Raw about Cody Rhodes possibly coming back into the fold. Then today, 9 o'clock Central, Cody and Brandy announce via Twitter post, they're gone. They're done. No longer with AEW. Tony Khan, he issues a statement thanking the both of them, confirming that Cody and Brandy seemingly done with the company. Ariel Helwani then jumps in and he says WWE is actually now talking to Cody Rhodes, according to Fightful. Cody was looking for a big money deal with AEW, couldn't get it. I guess WWE was offering him more, him and Brandy, you would think. So they took that route, or are taking that route. And, you know, the Observer also coming back and saying AEW being really tight with their talent budget right now, they are anticipating a TV renewal that will see them making more money, but it's still like a year or so away. And until then, they're going to have to be more tight. And, we were all wondering when the rubber band was going to start to break. We are seeing it now, right? Tony's at budget. I think the Bucks getting in 3 months ago and announcing on their Twitter that they had already re-signed the only EVPs, for what it's worth, that ever announced or have announced that they've officially re-signed with the company. So took the first deal they were offered, guaranteed their spot in the company for a little bit longer. I just couldn't come together. They couldn't reach an agreement here with Cody over money, and WWE obviously has a lot of money right now. And of course, there's a very big money show this weekend at Elimination Chamber. So I got a lot I can weave in and out here on this, but where do you want to start with this conversation, EJ? And by the way, before you get into it, I am going to drink a beer here today on the show, since I have been talking about how likely I thought this is going to be for over a month now, and I did turn out to be right. I'm going to be drinking a Rheingeist, and it's called a Cloud Harvest 07 unfiltered juicy IPA. Also the same company that makes the Truth, which would probably be at a more appropriate beer right now, but I don't have it. All right, EJ, where do you want to go? Your turn.
What a plug. We're sponsored by them, right? We got to get in contact.
It should be. They're a Cincinnati brewery. I could talk to Moxley or something like that. Anyway, go ahead.
Nick, before you took your flowers, I was going to give you your flowers and say you were right.
Thank you.
You were right. I know you were saying this, and I was like, nah, I don't think so, man. I don't know.
Everybody thought I was nuts. Everybody thought I was crazy. Why would he leave? He's got a TBS show. This is all being recorded for the TBS show. Guys, gals, I'm out in the field. I hear these people. I hear the people that work there. I knew there was friction, and Cody is so above indie friction. You go to WWE, the morale there is dead, right? They are. It is a plucky young locker room over at AEW right now. I think that Cody Rhodes can more easily find his way in a WWE landscape at the moment. Anyway, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, absolutely. No. You're fine. You know what? I'm going to double down. No, I'm not going to double down. But just to play a little bit of devil's advocate, do you think, I know everybody's saying that he's going to go to WWE.
Right.
But what if this is a major swerve, plug for later, a swerve, and he goes to NWA? Isn't he friends with Matt? That could be a fun.
No, it's interesting. No, Cody and Billy did not see eye to eye, from what I gather. There was, I remember talking to people very, very, very close to that relationship. I do not believe Cody and Billy saw eye to eye. I don't think we're going to see Cody in the NWA. I think it is. I think it is a slam dunk. Him and Brandy both back in WWE. There's so many reasons for this, right? Money is obviously a big one for them. But as I've been saying before, right? Cody did what Vince loves. He did what Drew McIntyre did. He did what Bobby Lashley did. He did what Chris Jericho has done 4 or 5 times, right?
Yeah.
Which is to go out, increase your value, prove that you're an Old West style gunner that can win shootouts, and come back to the table more valuable and with more respect. And, that's all Cody wanted. He wanted Dad to grab the mitt and the ball and play a catch in the backyard, right? He wanted Vince to say, I'm proud of you, right? And I think he's going to get exactly that. And I don't think that he would have put out this post today, nor would Tony. And I believe it was Fightful that said WWE was in simpatico with Cody, knew the post was going out and everything like that. A slam dunk home run. Cody and Brandy are heading back to WWE, where I think they're going to be much happier. I think they're going to make a lot of money. I think it's going to be a good fit for them and for the fans and pretty much everybody at the moment would be my guess.
Yeah, his style even in AEW was a WWE style. Like all of his matches felt like a WWE match, and he did the storytelling. He really shows it. He did exactly what Vince wants, and I can't wait to see him come back as Stardust. Just kidding. But like, he's proven that he is that guy and can be that guy, and the audience feels something about him. If Vince is watching, he's getting cheers, he's getting boos, and he's still putting on great matches with everybody.
And, I don't know, because the situations are different, right? Like, there was a whole lot of stuff going on around the Cody thing that was not surprising. But another big name that we have not heard anything about an official re-signing on is Jericho. And if this is Mad Money, Nick Hausman, here's what to watch next, right? This is my stock tip for the day, okay? The Jericho thing is an interesting situation. The guy is being booked right now where his stable is breaking up. It would be very, very easy for him to find himself a man on his own and exit the company. We don't know right now if Jericho's re-signed. We don't know if he's working on a per appearance deal, which Cody seemed to be doing as he was like finalizing his negotiations. I could promise you that Chris or his people are talking to Vince right now. And this guy is, I said already 4 or 5 times, goes to New Japan, goes to WCW, goes to EC, whatever. He goes somewhere, he raises value, he comes back. He's been flipping this. You've been flipping pro wrestling real estate for a long, long time. I think that there's a very good chance that Vince pulls at this guy's heartstrings, offers him the Hall of Fame, offers him the big Kevin Owens match, maybe something like that. I don't know. Somebody he wants to work with, and we see another AEW to WWE leap, because if Vince knows that Tony now is at capacity, like talent wise, Vince has got money. And if he can pluck away some people that he thinks could be influential to that AEW model, now is the time Vince is going to be making those plays.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, AEW has a lot. I think they hit their limit with the Limitless. But I've been feeling that in the air recently with Jericho. I feel like he's been like having little cryptic tweets here and there, responding to people's comments like, you never know, you could see me, who knows? And with Saudi Arabia coming up, they love the nostalgic acts.
Well, and that's the thing. So twofold with Cody. Let's talk about how a Cody reintroduction to WWE could possibly go. A lot of people now thinking Saudi, right? Does he take out a Riddle or, somebody like that to insert himself into this cell match? Does he show up and just, I don't know, has Pharaoh do some tricks in the ring, right? And they film it for Go Big Show season 4. I don't know, right? I don't know. Could do whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I don't discount that. And if it's all about money, I mean, a guaranteed big money payday for one of them Saudi shows, I don't think Cody's, going to be against that. But then there's another thing, and this was brought up by Chris Strikeleather was, I think, the name in our comment section when I did the stream earlier today. Tonight is the Dusty Rhodes finals on WWE NXT, the Creed brothers versus MSK. I talked to somebody else earlier. I said, that's really kind of interesting to me. Cody does this in the morning and at night while he is technically a free agent and can be doing anything he wants and show up on WWE TV. An award is being given out in his father's name on WWE. The person I mentioned this to was like, seems like a wash of a way to bring him in. They're going to be on Sci-Fi tonight, all of that type stuff. I get it. But if that show started with a limo pulling up and Cody Rhodes stepping out and they're saying, what is this guy doing here? And that's your runner for 2 hours, like an old school episode of WWF or WCW from the Attitude Era, I think you see a lot of fans that were not going to watch Sci-Fi tonight tune in to build to Cody Rhodes eventually awarding that title to one of those two teams. How you flip that into what else you want to do with them, I don't really know. This is probably not going to happen. I probably should have just hedged my bets where I was at right now, as I've been pretty good. Now I'm just wildly speculating. But I think look, there's enough pieces there for me to see it happening. And what a more poetic way for Cody to return to WWE than on his competition soil, which was NXT. So anyway, I don't know if you think that's nut or not. That's okay.
You telling me about the Dusty Rhodes final reminded me of that. Yeah, that seems like a layup. It's perfect. It's right there. I've actually been thinking the Elimination Chamber thing too, have Cody come back and take somebody out and be in the match, either win it or just being in it.
Right.
Just to throw everything out of whack. Now you have everybody tuning in and talking about it. Yo, Cody just came back and he won the championship and he took out. I'll save that for later for our questions. But yeah,
for
the poll.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, let's put a button in the Cody talk here till we'll come back to Cody in just a second. And on any and at the end of the show in the mailbag, but on any other day, the next news item we have here would be our lead news item. The fact that this got bumped to number 2 on our hot top 10 list is astounding to me. I'm not wearing my Steve Austin underwear today, or I might have given the people a little cheek peek. So, so Steve Austin and WWE. Fightful is reporting that WWE has made a significant overture towards Steve Austin for a match at WrestleMania 38. Now, there's no word on if Austin's interested in the match, but WWE's hoping he's going to come out of retirement for the grandest stage of them all. Word from within WWE is, at the very least, most expect Austin to have some sort of physical role at WrestleMania. Others believe he's just going to have a full-on match. PWInsider.com saying WWE first reached out to Austin in late December, early January to gauge his interest. They always planned on doing something with him as part of the show, which is true because he's been part of the Dallas advertising for over a year now. The talk of Austin possibly doing something physical started making the rounds around January. It was described as a Hail Mary idea. Wasn't clear if anything would pan out. The same source they spoke to in early January hoped that Austin would do a return storyline kicking off at the Rumble, but that obviously did not happen. But High Spots got everybody thinking there's something to this because they tweeted out a photo where they visited Steve Austin's ranch and they constructed a new wrestling ring for him. So looks like this may go down. It looks like we might get Steve Austin one more time after 19 years in Dallas, 100,000 people. How do you feel about it?
I'm torn, Nick. I love Stone Cold.
Oh, who don't?
But I wish that WWE put a lot of this energy towards all the talent that they have. They have so many like great wrestlers that I'm like, that's great. But if you built a match the right way, it would be, I'm not going to say as big as Stone Cold's return, but it could have enough merit to be enjoyable that you wouldn't need him. With that being said, after watching Raw last night, man, with Kevin Owens crapping on Texas, a guy who also does the stunner. Like while I was watching, I was like, yeah, him and Stone Cold are they have the same move.
A lot of people want to see it. I'm not against it, right? I'm totally not against it. See, when I think of Steve Austin, though, I probably think of something that a lot of people are like, please, God, no, I do not want to see that. But if you're going to be in Texas and you're going to do one more Steve Austin match, why not do one more Undertaker match? Why not bring Mark Calloway out, have the two old guns showdown one more time in the ring, Steve Austin, Undertaker in Texas, most Texas match outside of the Freebirds all having the Von Erichs having a battle royal made of no one but Von Erichs. I think that would be dope. I think the vignettes would be cool. I understand why a lot of people, I'd understand why that probably would not happen, but it would serve as a great premise to induct Taker officially into the Hall of Fame. One more big bout in front of fans. He's working with Steve. These guys can work a different kind of punch kick style that does not require Rey Mysterio-esque techniques. That's where, but I think we're likely to probably get Kevin Owens for the stuff you pointed out.
Yeah, Austin, Kevin Owens feels like the right move. And I feel like Austin has said in his podcast before, if he ever came back, it would be to be like a Texas death style, like fight, like brawl match. He's like, I'm not going to be working and doing too many bumps. It's going to be a lot of kicking and punching.
Yeah.
And that sort of match. I'm like, yeah, all right. I'm not opposed.
Sure.
I'm a huge Stone Cold fan, so of course I'd like to see him come back. I'd rather see Stone Cold than Goldberg, but here we are.
Yeah. Hey, Goldberg's got one more in him. He's going to hopefully put over Roman Reigns. And then, maybe that will be a fine way to put a cherry on his legacy. Who knows? And I'm not totally convinced the guy may not have one or two more matches after this, but
no, he has they're going to bring him back out for 4 more.
Got to break the Goldberg glass. The guy moves the needle. Outside of Steve Austin potentially coming back, The Rock also teased a WWE return yesterday in a tweet responding to a Super Bowl tweet from a fan who was like, you didn't pause and say and millions, which a lot of wrestling people got really upset about The Rock with, because I guess that's what we're all upset about today. And The Rock said, don't worry, you're going to hear it again real soon. Why? Do you like my condescending tone to everybody that's,
you know it. That's my favorite Nick. I feel like The Rock knows how to keep heat on himself, in the good heat, not like bad heat, but keeping himself heated up just for always to be in talks.
Right.
You never know when he's going to show up. I mean, it's kind of embarrassing at this point. I mean, the WWE's played like 80 vignettes for The Rock, and he's like, yeah, I'm not showing up, but we still want to see him.
It's like, when you start leaving flowers at your girlfriend's doorstep and she's not grabbing them, and after a while there's just a big pile of flowers right out front. We've all been there, right?
Yeah. It's like you didn't get all those pink envelopes I sent you?
Come on now.
With my cologne sprayed all over?
I left a lot of candy out there, and that became the gift of ants. So, I think The Rock will come. I don't know if I would think this year. I think he's LA. I think he's Hollywood the year after. Maybe he comes back, and what a great moment it would be if he came out and stared down Roman Reigns to close down night 2 of WrestleMania after he beat Brock. Setting the stage for Hollywood. I could see that,
Or knowing him, the stage for his presidential run.
Oh, yeah, totally. And Roman's like, you have my vote, Mr. President.
He's like, acknowledge me. Vote for me.
Yes, yeah.
Eyebrow clink. Yeah.
And that's a wrap. WrestleMania 38. Lastly here, before we get to Swerve, if you're in audio form, and then again, that'll be up in video form here in about 5 minutes. So we'll dive into the mailbag here in just a moment. But I had to do a double take on Monday Night Raw as I was watching it back this morning because I guess Tommaso Ciampa is fully making the leap to the main roster on Raw, no less. He's going to be back on WWE Main Event this week, but he also appeared on Raw to continue his NXT feud with Dolph Ziggler. So Ciampa getting the call up finally to make some real money and show what he can do. I think I'm very optimistic about this, but I'm even more optimistic after seeing him in the space, right? Seeing him standing next to Dolph Ziggler, seeing him interact. I think there was a lot of worry that he works a kind of indie style that's kind of small. He's so bulletproof. I thought he looked and felt great. I hope we get to see a lot more Tommaso Ciampa getting opportunities on the main roster.
I also like this way of bringing somebody new from NXT. It's not just the music hitting and being like, you all know who this is. Now we changed their name. They showed a little video package. You see him on commentary. You get to see him and feel and hear him. So you get a different sort of style of an introduction. I think it's going to be great. When I first saw him on the main roster, though, I think it was when they were all stuck on the tarmac and they brought all the NXT folks up. And I think he ruined his knees going against Sheamus. But I was worried because looking at him next to Sheamus is like a vast size difference. But also Sheamus is just a huge dude, so that's not fair. But I think he's going to do well. I think his style will work, especially if he's the size he is. If he's going against a big dude, he can just throw all his moves at somebody, and that could be the match.
Yeah, and Michael Thomas Banshit's asking when Ciampa was actually on Raw. Great question. Didn't preface. Dirty Dogs were taking on Street Profits. Ciampa jumped the rail behind the commentators, kind of knocked the commentary over, and then threw some water to Ziggler's face and then cost the Dirty Dogs the match. So that's how he got involved. I see Dino here as well saying that Ciampa could just be a cameo to promote NXT. There's so much feeling out right now. They have one or two big stories, and then everybody else is just constantly being barometered. Yeah. I feel like, and this feels to me again we'll do it. If Vince liked it, we'll do it again next week. If not, we can always, I guess, pivot him back to NXT, Yeah.
And he even took a super kick. That's when I was like, oh, yeah. He's going to stick around for a bit.
Yeah. All right. Well, EJ, I want to thank you for joining me at the top show, talk all the news of the day. Thank you to everybody for jumping in. Big viewership day. Lots of comments. Not surprised. You're all fantastic. Take that love over to the Wrestling Inc. Daily iTunes page. Show it there. It really helps the show a lot. But without further ado, let's dive to not without further ado. Swerve, the realist. Thank you so much for the time. Had an absolute blast. Go check that out here after we're done in just a minute. All right. So today's mailbag question at Wink Daily, that's where you go to check out the daily poll. is who do you most want to see Cody Rhodes feud with in WWE? I believe I ran this a little while ago when everybody thought I was out of my caboodle. But now it's back, baby.
You did. You really did. I remember that. Yeah.
I did. So maybe we'll find the results of that poll here in just a second, see if anything's changed. But I asked everybody, who do you want to see him feud with? 300 votes, 46.5% Triple H, 31.9% Roman Reigns, 14.8% for somebody else, and 6.8% specifically for Bobby Lashley, because I just think that'd be a very interesting program personally. Who do you most want to see Cody, feud with if when he comes back?
My person stays the same. The Miz. I think The Miz is a perfect layup and opponent. They're like bizarro world versions of each other right now. And you have Brandy and Maurice. They're both on these reality TV shows that are competing. You could raise that up a little bit. They're going to be wearing fly suits and they're like, my show's better. No, my show's better. Who are we going for? I don't know. But you have those two there, and that can like warm them up for Stephanie Triple H situation down the line. That's inevitable.
I feel like before, I'm not against it. I actually kind of dig that, but like the Edge and Beth Phoenix are around right now too. They'd be an interesting pairing to kind of play with Brandy and Cody. Although, look, Brandy's going to have to be produced. If Brandy goes around acting and saying and doing the stuff she was doing on AEW TV with very little focus and non-direction, it ain't going to work.
No, they're going to be they're already heavily written as is. I please, y'all, with all due respect, I guess, I don't know, whatever. Those were some of the most brutal promos that just felt really weird. I don't know. I like Beth Phoenix Edge. I think Edge versus Cody would be a really good storytelling match that would really get, especially if we want to get Cody to be the heel.
Right. Or I don't know, man.
And that's what I'm going to say. What are your thoughts? Would he be a heel or a face?
The guy wants to be a babyface. It is so glaringly obvious he wants to be a babyface. The more aged, hardcore wrestling fan, I don't think digs Cody for a variety of personal reasons. The more casual, younger family audience that can be grifted more easily, I think will love Cody. And I think that he will really appeal to the WWE fans as a babyface. And I think he will be happier and get what he wants. Yes.
Yeah, you're right. So he'll go against The Miz. I feel The Miz. I'm sticking.
Yeah, and if they want to do the heel thing, put him with Edge, right?
Yeah,
I think it goes either way, and he'd be fine either. I think everybody wants to see him as a heel, but I think he wants to be a baby, and I think they'd want to book him as a baby and try to sell a whole bunch of merchandise. That'd be my guess.
Yeah, he does look like what's his face from The Boys? Home Defender?
Oh, Homelander.
Homelander.
Well, and everybody, like, there have been people that left WWE on good terms and go over and then shoot in the ring on their former employer. That's happened a time or two. You wonder, what does Cody kind of rag the former AEW? Do you think he makes his little cute insider references, alluding to how maybe things aren't greener pastures elsewhere, like people would think? Like, I'm wondering what those promos look like if he tries to, throw a little dirt over at his former. It's like a former girlfriend. Like, you were in a deep relationship with them, man.
Yeah, and then he went back to his ex. He's like, yeah, babe, you were always the one for me. And he could really say that. Just go, I'm here to where the real big stars are, and just end it right there and throw the world on fire.
Yeah. You know what? He loves his reality TV. No longer 90 Day Fiance, 3-year fiance, right? You got 3 years to decide if you want to get married or not, and then run somewhere else. So, great show. Gino's a piece of crap. Anyway, let's look at some other answers here. Eric Busco, the Buscat. Oh, we really only have about a minute or two, so I'll just read one or two comments. So the Buscat, at the Buscat, Triple H, too easy a pick. Could he be the one that finally ends Roman's run? Probably not. A lot of great choices. Biggie, Orton, Riddle, Sammy. As long as he's not out there in yellow polka dots chasing the 24/7 title. Don't think we're going to see him get dustied.
Think.
Yeah.
I saw Randy Orton feud with Randy Orton Legacy Revisited. That's fun.
Well, I think the Triple H feud, Randy Orton would be very interesting. Yeah. And I think that's the thing. Is like, if you're going to get Triple H involved, it's not going to be Triple H wrestling. The man has had heart surgery. It's going to be Triple H representing somebody. And a Triple H and Randy Orton against a Cody Rhodes, okay. I don't hate that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Give Triple H the microphone. Call him out for always using his moves and taunting him.
Yeah.
In the indies or whatever he would call it.
Sure. Yeah, maybe Big Dave gets back involved. Batista comes back. Who knows? Level the playing field, right? All right. Well, we're gonna put a pin on it there today. I am beyond exhausted. It's been a really, really, really busy day, but it's been a great day. It was WrestleMania traffic today. I mean, really, the site was, an exploding mailbox of traffic today. So, we're gonna keep the news rolling as we always do. I'll be back tomorrow. I was gonna release the C2E2 panel today, then tomorrow, but we're going to take a little break here tomorrow. We had Swerve today, a bunch of big news. We'll cover more news tomorrow. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of fallout. Then Thursday, you're going to hear me, Matt Cardona, Ken Anderson, the rest of the Headlock panel crew from C2E2. We're going to roll that into the weekend with even more news. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be joined by another comedian, Brian Wool. Support the Wrestling Inc. Daily, like I said, on iTunes or wherever you get podcasts. SupportWrestlingInc.com. And come back here tonight after NXT to watch the Wrestling Inc. podcast. It's going to be just like this, a lot like this, only at night, different people, more Cody talk, maybe talk about Cody, awarding that Dusty Trophy. Just saying. Think about it, people. Think about it. EJ, what do you want to put over here? Wrap up.
Oh, man. First, I'm going to put you guys, give it up for Nick. I got to put you over, man. You know what you're talking about. You keep it entertaining and fun. Just giving you a shout out. Keep on being good people, y'all. I've upgraded from bagels to croissant bread. There is sliced croissant bread at Whole Foods. It's delicious. Give it a shot. I'm at EJ_Cam19. Give me a follow. Be nice. Be kind. Go do something nice for yourself and others today.
Yeah, wonderful advice. I am at Nick_Hausman. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And remember, if you winked,